Right, talking about inflation rate and of course interest rate, which also is a major issue here when you talk about mortgage financing. So how, looking at the kind of interest rates we have presently, how achievable do you think this would be? I mean, achieving affordable housing through mortgage?
Yes, you see, like I said, this process started many years back. National Housing Fund was 1992. Look at pension fund today. Look at the pension fund. Pension fund is the biggest fund in this country, running to trillions now, about 2 trillion. How much were we expected to part with from our salary? You see, in case of National Housing Fund, then when it started, you are to contribute 2.5% of your income.
But how many people do that now?
No, because we were not patient to evaluate process. We were not patient. And many labor unions, because some industry organizations were not contributing, many employees are not contributing. You understand what I'm saying? But even the FNBN2, the structures at that time could not really manage that fund. So the fund collapsed. But that is the fund that was celebrated all over the world. It would have been one of the best solutions to affordable housing, because every worker in this country contributing to that fund. We have huge source of fund that FNBA will release to developer and to whoever want to pick mortgage at just 5%. That was the time it was reduced to 6%. So at 6%, it becomes very affordable. That is the solution to affordable housing in this country. That you and I, that are workers, who could not afford this 26% bank rate, you go through that route. Every month, you begin to contribute to that fund. 200%. Government has a counterpart funding. At the end of the day, you'll be able to qualify to obtain this loan at 6%. You understand what I'm saying? So that is the route. But unfortunately, that process was frustrated. That's why I was saying here that what we need was not really a new refinance company. FNBN is licensed and been restructured since 1992 to play the role of refinancing.
So why do you think Federal Mortgage Bank, that's FMBN, why do you think it's not performing?
You see, the problem is, I remember that an organization, a security arm of this country, was brought to National Assembly. That how much have you collected from your staff, from National Housing Fund? And they said about 10 billion, about 3 billion. Where is it? He said it's in our mortgage something. The money was never remitted. So the FNBN, the law, there was no statutory provision to penalize every defaulting worker or employer. That the rule is that you must collect this money and you must remit to FNBN. So because we are not able to see the process through, because mortgage could not be created because there was no housing stock, people started saying, we are contributing. We contributed for about 5 years and there was no house for us. We don't want to contribute again. You see, we've been analyzing challenges. We've been saying this is the way forward. You see, one thing we have to realize is that every Nigerian desires to have a house. That is just the truth. And if we stop playing politics with figures and we say, let's be sincere. It takes sincerity from the part of government to really understand what is this problem. And then we'll be able to resolve it. Well, we've told them, I told you in this program, that it's a process that started in 1992, and we kept on saying, how can we fine-tune, how can we solve this problem? You understand what I'm saying? So many people are saying that the problem of mortgage is default, this and that, nobody wants to play. But people really came. As far back as 1996, 2002, there were about 156 licensed mortgage companies in this country. But towards 2010, they became just 30. What happened to them? Business to do. There was a time in this Lagos we have almost 100, 150 mortgage companies.
What is the role of the primary mortgage institutions in all of this?
You see, the role of the primary mortgage institution is to encourage you and I to save towards a house. It's a culture we have to imbibe. The first day you got your job, you know that one day I want to, in the next 5 years in my life, I want to own my own house. Then you begin to contribute your so-called 10%. They help you to save towards this, your 10%. So saving the 10% helps you to establish your saving culture. You understand? So if you are able to save your 10% and you are able to access the National Housing Fund, you are eventually able to procure a mortgage. Then it's so certain that you've been able to part with certain amount of your salary for over a period of time in terms of saving 10%. Yeah. So when you now have the mortgage, it's not going to be difficult for you to part to service your mortgage because you've already built that culture of savings that we don't have in the country. So the mortgage industries were there. You and I, if you want to buy a car, we know how we save towards it. So they are specialized banking institutions, savings institutions, savings and loan institutions. They help you to build up your account. And if you are to qualify for 5 million loan, they help you to, immediately you are able to save your 10%, and there's house for you to buy, and in your place of work, you have been contributing to your National Housing Fund. They help you to access this low mortgage from FMBN. Okay. That is the role of the primary mortgage institutions. Because you know that for quite a long time, it was only FMBN in this country that was performing the role of primary. But in 1992, they said, look, let's license PMIs, primary mortgage institution, and you, FMBN, be operating as refinancing. You become the secondary institution. This one begin to operate as PMI. So whatever loan you are able to originate at the PMI level, the primary level, that is a portfolio they take to FMBN and sell to them so that they have enough money to keep on originating loan. All right. So that is the role of PMI.
All right, Professor. Let's take a quick look at this tweet from David. He said, can government alone provide affordable housing?
You see, the minute you put affordable, there is need for government support. Government alone cannot provide. But when you say the private sectors are in business to make profit. So when you say the category, what are the category of people that requires affordable housing? They are not the rich people living here. They go to the bank and take at whatever rate. The people we are talking about, they are government staff, low-income workers, teachers, who they call key workers in developed nations. So because they are providers of basic services to keep the nation running, they are the ones that need these affordable services. People working in communication and banks and oil industry, they have each amount of loan to buy land, to buy all these US houses at 440 million, 20 million. You know what I'm saying? So government alone cannot do it. The government work in partnership. The government have a leading role to play. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Professor. That's the much we can take for now. So let's just hope that we'll get it right in this country in terms of mortgage financing. Like you said, 25 to 30 years.
We'll get it.
Well, thank you very much for being part of this program. That's the much we can take. And we've been looking at the challenges of mortgage finance in Nigeria, and I've been speaking with Professor Timothy Nubi, a professor of estate management at the University of Lagos. On that note, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwabu.